To clean or pitch belongings after mold, what should you do? This is a really tough question that I get asked a lot, and something that I even wrestled with greatly when I was going through mold and kind of the healing process began. If you look onto Google, for example, you'll read tons of stories out there of folks that have said that they had to walk away from everything as if a fire had happened. And I would read those and think like, that's just crazy sauce. How and why would you do that? I have a lot of things and they can't all be contaminated with mold. And yet I learned the hard way, actually getting out of my first home that had toxic mold, that when I brought my things, I actually brought a lot of mold with me. And initially moving out of mold, that was what I heard was the first step. You just got to get out of the environment. But no one really told me so much about like what to do with my stuff, or there really wasn't just like a one size fits all approach to that answer as well. But what I did find out is that if you've lived in a systemic environment where mold and mycotoxin contamination has really been a big issue throughout the space, that a lot of your things do actually become contaminated. Mold, again, affects everyone super individually. And sometimes if you've caught a mold issue earlier on, it may not be as systemic in the home or in the air vents, etc. However, in my case, and after living in a home for 2 years where this problem accumulated, a lot of my things did become cross-contaminated is what we would call it, where mycotoxins, the toxic mold spores, actually took up residence in things like my clothes, my furniture, my books, upholstery, etc. in that home. So suffice it to say, I brought it with me. I moved into a space that was cleaner and less moldy, mycotoxin free. However, I was still reacting and found that the shortness of breath continued, the brain fog continued, headaches, digestive distress, like why and what could this be? I hired a person to come and actually clean my things, so someone to come fog my items. But my problem in my moldy home had just been so big for so long that a lot of my stuff, there was no return for it. And so in a follow-up move, I was not really able to stay in that next place for very long. I actually said, I'm gonna try this thing, and try this thing meaning I'm gonna try leaving my stuff and really going scotch-free. And that did actually include my car, my laptop, computer, like things that felt were like prized possessions for me. But what I realized is my health was so much more worth it than continuing to bring my moldy problem along with me. I share this with you not to be a fear monger or to say overarchingly, everyone needs to get rid of their stuff and their things. But just to also say, if you are finding you are still feeling reactive after getting out of a moldy space, it could be some of the stuff and the cross-contamination on those things that are making you more reactive. So in my article today, in my article on this topic, I have attached a full list of things that are commonly cross-contaminated with mold. Again, being things like porous items such as your clothing, books, and papers, furniture, wood, but just depending on your level of reactivity, I was reactive to even things that they said that could be cleaned, like silverware, for example. The home had just had such issues and I was such a sensitive flower at the time. And so really would encourage you to not also I would encourage you to not to go it alone if you're trying to make the decisions of what to get rid of, what to keep, etc. Talking to someone that's been through it before and that can really help you with strategizing what to do with your things. If anything, one thing that I've also found really helpful for folks is get a storage unit if you're not sure you're ready to get rid of everything, and just put your stuff in there. And that way you get to higher ground, you be free from some of those things. 9 times out of 10, I find people just completely forget what is in that storage unit even, and that you really just didn't need that stuff in the first place, and or they may go back into that environment and realize like, this stuff actually is more contaminated than I thought. Some of it may be salvageable, some of it may not, but that can be a really great way to at least part from your things for a little bit of a time. And as you're trying to make those tough decisions, and sometimes financially tough decisions as well in that process. But your health is so worth it and so important. And so really would encourage you, if anything, to put that and prioritize yourself first. And just remember, when given the right tools, your body innately wants to heal itself. Marie Kondoing my life and just getting rid also and cleansing was one of the best things that I could have done for myself in that healing journey in order to give my body those right tools. And so if anything, if you need help deciding what to do with your stuff and or in the healing journey and the process of detoxing from mold, both body and environment, would be happy to support you in that journey. Go to myfunctionalmedicine.com and I can't wait to hear from you.